Hey everyone. So I'm a gigantic nerd, and I just watched one of the more recent episodes of X-Men 97. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend. And Cyclops has a quote in it that I thought was worth talking about, even if you're not a fan of X-Men in any regard. And that quote goes, "Good men don't seek leadership, they're summoned to it." And I thought that was great, and it's worth a discussion on what it means to be not only a leader, but a hero in the modern age. There was a time in my 9th grade science class where my asshole teacher that did not like me at all, and therefore I did not like him at all, said that the homework assignment that we had from the other day was due today. And I got very confused because I could have sworn he said it was due later on in the week, not today. This was a Tuesday. I thought it was due on a Friday or something, I don't remember. Now, at this point in time, I was extremely antisocial and shy. To the most shy man you will ever meet, or kid. I was like, how old is a 9th grader? I don't remember. Like, raising my hand and saying here for attendance was horrifying. So of course the thought of questioning this teacher that hated me about this assignment actually being done later in the week and not today seemed so out of the question. No way was that ever going to come from me. And I remember when he said that, I looked around the room, and specifically at the straight A students, the ones that he actually had a bit of respect for. I think he hated everyone, but he liked them a little bit because they were doing what they were supposed to. Not that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to, I was just really bad at it. I was not a very good student. And all these kids also looked just as confused. I'm wondering, what did he just say? What does he mean that it's due today? What? And to my own shock and amazement, I raised my hand. The teacher looked at me, and before he could even acknowledge me and say something to me, I just said, "I thought that was due later on in the week." And Mr. Egotistical Bald Asshole stopped in his tracks, sat there blankly for a second, and said, "Oh, you're right. Sorry, everyone." And not only did the dread leave the room once this happened, but I remember my buddy who was sitting behind me tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Dude, you just saved the class." I love this story, and I feel like I can't say that without sounding like an egotistical asshole. But I love this because not only was I horribly shy at the time, but I was also going through a lot of health issues. Like, I remember how badly it felt to even have a normal conversation with one of my friends because it was energy being expelled from me that I felt like I didn't even have. I was so incapable of doing most normal human things because I was so ill at the time, on top of being a shy, very terrified, anxious, introverted kid. Like, I look back at that time of my life and I just feel bad for myself. I would slouch and I'd wear hoodies every day, even if it was 90 degrees out, because that made me feel less seen by everyone. Yet this indescribable force came over me, and I felt inclined to speak up for everyone. I couldn't not do it because it was so clearly, the teacher was so clearly wrong and the rest of us were right. It wasn't due yet. Truly, I think it was the right circumstance of knowing the truth and also disliking this teacher so much that brought something forward in order for me to raise my hand and say something, because in any other area of school of my life at that time, there was no way I would have ever raised my hand and questioned anyone of authority. Or just my friends. Like, I didn't have energy for that. And, you know, to be honest, I still feel the way that I did in school quite often. Like, my first instinct when I am having a social interaction is to be anxious. Like the second I walk into a store and I have to say hi to somebody, like, my heart breaks a little bit. Now, luckily, I'm able to move past that almost immediately and say hi, and I'm quite an excellent speaker, I'd like to think, most of the time anyways. But that's a skill that I've developed. My deep down, I am still a scared little man, I'm gonna be honest. But why am I able to move through that now? Well, truly, it's because I had the right set of circumstances to raise my hand and tell this teacher that he was wrong. And that force, as much as I can, you know, pinpoint me not liking him and the situation called for it, it still felt like something indescribable happened to me. Like I was taken over by a higher being, a good being, not like I was possessed by a demon, but something cool and awesome came out inside of me that was there the whole time that I didn't even know existed until then. To tell this teacher that, dude, you're wrong. And I wish I could have told him that he sucked because he was so mean. Calling someone a leader is a very large compliment, and therefore I don't like to refer to myself as a leader because I like to remain humble at all times. That's how I was raised. That's how I feel like I should be. But I am capable of being a leader at times in my life. There have been multiple times at workplaces that I've been at where no one knows what to do, or someone is having a terrible day, like clearly having a bad day. I can recognize these things, and I am often inclined to speak up, and I do. Whether that's, hey, let's do this so we can all get back on track, or, hey, let's do X or Y because then this person who's having a terrible day doesn't have to deal with whatever. And I do this because I have a genuine desire to make the situation as best as it can be, not only for myself, but for other people. I mean, if you want to look at it selfishly, the sooner we get things done, the sooner I can go home and not have to be at work. But also, if I'm stuck here, I want everyone else to have a good time too, because I genuinely like being around people that are having an okay time. You know, we can all go through hell if we're surrounded by like-minded people. And if someone's having a bad time, by all means, if I'm capable of lifting them up, I'd love to do that. That makes everyone's day easier. And I don't like seeing someone be sad all the time. And truly, when I see people that seem, depending on the day, a little bit helpless, I always wanted a Superman to walk into the room when I was in 9th grade, when I was feeling horrible. Someone to just save my ass and save the day, save me from social interactions, save me from the idiot teachers that didn't understand that I was ill, save me from the homework assignments that I didn't want to do. And Superman doesn't show up in times like that. It sucks, but that's the truth. Typically. Everyone in that class, when the teacher said that homework was due today and no one had done it because it wasn't due that day, I was Superman, dude. I'm the one that raised my hand and said, that's not due today. And he was like, oh shit, you're right. I bet a tremendous amount of you have had thoughts of speaking up about something, and due to fear or embarrassment or any reason, you just haven't. And that's fine. I don't blame you. You know, I still struggle with that. Sometimes I feel like I should say something and I don't. But I remember how I felt, how helpless I felt for so long, and how sometimes I still do, and how so many other people feel that way but haven't been given opportunity like I have to move that to the side and try and be the best person I can be. A lot of people don't even know they can do that. If they think they can, they're too scared to do it. And there's also a lot of people that just don't care. But those people want a Superman to show up and fix the problem. We all do. I don't know if anyone or everyone is meant to be a hero, if everyone is capable of this, but you will be called to it at some point. There will be a situation where you feel inclined to speak up and say something because, dude, you have to. So if you've ever felt this at all, it's because deep down, you are capable of being Superman. You are capable of being a hero. You are capable of being a leader. And if you feel like you should do something, then I know you can do something. And that's the message I wanted to get at today. I hope that connected with someone. It connects to me, and it makes me feel inclined to rise up and be the best person I can be, because if I can't rely on anyone else, at least I can rely on myself. Most days. Some of the time. Enough to make a difference.